Welcome to another episode of Reseller Evolution. My name's Scott.
And I'm Carl.
How's it going, Carl?
Good. I say that every week, but still good.
Well, as long as it's good, that's good.
Great.
Did you? I don't think you went out to yard sales this week, or did you?
No.
Okay, because you were busy, or something, or is it going to rain?
I think I had an excuse, but I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, I think you had an excuse. I know one week you went to a cottage.
Yeah.
And then another week it was raining or something was going on. So
I can't.
Did you get out yard sale? Not yard selling, but thrifting.
Technically, so today's Wednesday. I went Tuesday, and I just picked up a few things, but nothing. No home runs.
No home runs.
Okay. It was all just small little bunts. But I was going to go out to Lachute on Tuesday.
Oh, again.
Yeah. So I did some calculations. My car has no problem getting there and back. So I don't know what the hell I was thinking.
Yeah.
So I don't have that excuse. The issue is, like, if I'm going to get up early, like I need to, I sleep in the other bedroom so I can set the alarm and not bug Amy when I get up, right?
Yep.
So I prepped to go, but when that alarm went off, I just rolled over.
Oh, dude.
I must admit. But, honestly, I have so much good stuff that I really need to list it. And I actually started all that, and then I got interrupted, which makes me so angry when I get interrupted doing something, because it like throws me completely off. But yeah. I did test a whole bunch of cameras and good stuff too, right? So I don't really need to go Tuesday. A friend of mine who's there, he said that, and he's a vendor there, he said actually there's too many vendors this Tuesday, and that he was doing lots of low sales, like $5 sales.
Oh.
But lots of them. But he said, there's almost too many people selling. And this, in Quebec, they have something called the construction holiday, which I think is 2 weeks, where everyone in construction takes all their holiday at the same time.
Okay.
So what happens is places like this get swamped, right, because that's what people do, right, when they're off.
Yeah.
So I also didn't want to deal with that, but mostly I wanted to stay in bed, and I didn't regret it at all.
Well, it would have been a good day to be a vendor.
Well, he was saying it wasn't because there's too many vendors.
But
even though there's more customers,
he still sold a lot though, right? So
he said he did. So I'm gonna. I haven't talked to him since, so I'll ask him on the weekend how it went.
Yeah.
But
I mean, so selling a lot regardless is good.
Yeah. Well, hopefully you did well.
Yeah.
So.
No. Okay. So you didn't get out. You just got a few things at a thrift store, but nothing. No home runs.
Yeah, definitely not. But the other thing that happened is at the booth, someone came up with a picture of a bin full of CDs that he wanted to sell. And I said, well, what, is it rock and roll? Oh yeah, rock and roll. And then he's like, oh, I just want $125 for the whole bin of CDs.
Wow.
And he said, oh yeah, there's rock and roll and country. And I was like, yeah, no.
Wow, that's a lot. Like you'll find cheaper in yard sales, but it's also condition and the genre for sure. So
yeah,
it's weird that they would bring a picture unless the bin was in the vehicle, but they didn't want to bring. Okay,
it was.
I would have ran out and took a look just to see.
Yeah.
What was he asking for him?
125 for the bin.
And how much was in the bin? Like 100, 200?
Yeah, probably 100. It's hard to tell from a picture, right, on his phone.
Because you might have been able to cherry pick a bit.
Well, he wanted to sell the whole bin.
Yeah.
But honestly, the market was so busy.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Yeah, it rained.
Okay.
So it was funny. Another vendor, Mark, said, oh, it's going to be a good day because it's raining. And I was like, okay. Because I was hoping for a quiet day, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because I had stuff I wanted to get done while I was there. But oh my God. So my buddy Chris across from me, he was at a convention and he asked me if I would watch his booth for him and do sales for him. And so he was at the convention. Oh my God. Like between his booth and my booth, I was like running around the whole 8 hours of watching someone else's booth, but also just the amount of people coming in.
Yeah.
it was definitely a record for sure for the amount. Like I don't even know. So yeah, it was good that way. But I was bloody tired after that. So
How did you do?
I think it was like 400 or 500 for me, which is good.
Yeah. Wow, that's good.
Uh,
That's
a
a good
lot
number.
of that was John's stuff, though.
Well, you get a commission.
I do get a commission, and it's also eye opening too.
Yeah.
Like I have 30 tarot card decks, and whose tarot card deck sells?
Oh, his
Fucking John's, man.
craziness.
Yeah. So anyway, it taught me a lesson a little bit. I'm always learning though.
Yeah.
But you were talking about sourcing, and I really want to work on my passive sourcing.
What's a passive sourcing?
So like a sourcing that comes to you without you doing
Oh,
any real
okay.
work. Kind of
Okay.
like the guy with the bin of CDs.
Yeah.
Like I didn't go out looking for that; it came to me.
Yeah.
Or with the Tamagotchi where it didn't work out, they came to me. Like that's I like that because Carl the lazy reseller. Well, I like that stuff,
Yeah.
and I don't mind paying up a bit if I can get my a good return on it. It doesn't have to be a great return; it has to be a good return, though.
Yeah. And if I mean, there's pros and cons to paying up. Cons I think are obvious, but I think a pro is you got repeat business, right? So if they're happy, they'll bring more stuff to you in the
There's
future,
that for sure.
right? So, or maybe even recommendations. So, but the other side is obviously you still can't pay too much because you're not going to make anything. So you got to kind of, you know, I mean those are obvious things,
It
but
is obvious, but at the same time, you have to be disciplined on that because,
yeah,
like, that's my weakness is paying too much to get a deal through rather than saying no.
yeah,
You know, one fun thing I was playing with was the AI again. It was so quick. I got it to make me like a poster. So I actually spent money and went to Home Depot, or not Home, Staples, and got, those little plastic kind of things that you can put a piece of clear plastic that sits upright and you can put a piece of paper behind it.
okay,
So you
yeah,
have, so I got one of those. And then I had AI print me like with like 2 sentences, a great poster with a cartoon version of me on the front saying I buy stuff. And I'm going to put it in there and have it in the booth just saying I buy stuff because like people do ask, but how many people don't bother asking and would be interested if they saw the sign, right?
yeah,
And if I can sit there anyways, you might as well have it up. It
yep.
doesn't take that much room. So that's why my passive like sourcing or like another version would be kind of is like if you give out your business cards and then someone calls you based on that.
Well, all you have to do now, Carl,
Yeah,
is
here we
get
go.
that source to put a price tag on it and put it in your booth. That's the perfect source.
Right, the source. Oh, the yeah.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
Oreos.
So yeah, I'll buy your CDs. I want you to put $3 a piece on them
Oh yeah.
and put them in a nice box and just set them in the booth.
Well, honestly, my friend John, that's what it is. It is another
Oh
form of
yeah, that's true. Yeah,
passive sourcing, right? Like if you think of
yeah,
it that way,
yeah,
you
for
know.
sure.
So I like that stuff because the less work I can do, the better it is, man.
It just sounds funny, but it's actually pretty good. It's a good
Yeah,
setup. So
it's working for me.
yeah.
Um, yeah. So, anyways, that was how was your week for sourcing?
Okay. So sourcing. I went. Remember, I had that struggle. Do I go an hour and 40 minutes to a town wide that I've always done well at,
Yeah,
or I go? I think I said last week 25 minutes. It turns out to be about 45 minutes. I'm new to the area, so I just kind of quickly figured it out. But anyways, um, I figured it out the night before how long it's going to take. So I still showed up about 10 to 7 in the morning. A lot of people out. I could not believe the amount of pickers that were out at 10 to 7. Like cars alongside of the road. Like usually they don't get there till about 8:30, 9 o'clock, and then the roads are packed.
right.
But there was a lot of pickers like us, like early birds, and I really didn't get anything. I got a bag of car emblems. There's probably 50 car emblems, and I paid $50 for the bag. So that's $1 a piece. That's fine. I sell them for $6 to $10. If there's something rare, old, or interesting in there, I haven't really looked through it that closely. Um, maybe maybe there's a $25 one or something, but there's most of these are going to be around $6 to $10.
Yeah.
So I hadn't bought anything so far in the morning, so to buy them all he wanted $100, and I said I'm thinking more like 50, and then he goes, okay, $50, because I think he knew that he wasn't going to get rid of them all otherwise. So anyway, um, so it was really a letdown. It was horrible. However, coming on the way back home, you're driving there early so nobody's out. But on the way home, I saw this yard sale sign, and I've met a new contact. She's got lots of stuff. I bought the biggest ram's head that I've ever seen, wood carving.
Yeah.
I think you probably saw the Instagram of it, and I sent you some pictures of it, dude.
I did. I've seen it, and you displayed it.
Yes. Um, I sent you and Ben pictures of it.
Yeah.
So, um, it was. I thought it was well done. I thought it was big.
Yeah.
It's like wood. It's a pine. It's got some age to it. You can see how the wood has started to like dried and split a little bit, but by no means badly. Just kind of shows some of the age. Um, yeah. So I was really happy with that. I picked up that and eight. So these came out of an old theater, probably early 1900s to up to maybe the 1950s, 1900, 1950s. And then they would have taken them out, replaced them, but it come out of an old theater. So
Yeah.
it's seats. It's wooden seats that fold, and they're old. You can tell that they're old. She even said that there's a photo somewhere. They come out of a theater in Dutton, Ontario, and she said that she even has a photo where World War II soldiers were sitting in these seats.
Oh, fun.
So, they go back at least that far, but I would say they probably go further. Anyway, so there's two seats joined together, and I bought 8. So it's like 16 seats, but they're joined together. So obviously there's 8. And I picked up the ram's head. The whole package cost me $200. I got $300 on the ram's head. I'm going to sell the seats probably for 100, 125. I'll put 125 on them, but I think I can get $100 a piece. So I think that was a great score.
Mm-hmm.
And she had sold a lot of the seats already to other people that sell. She goes, but I've had so many. She goes, I really just want to get some room back here. And if this is the price with the ram's head, she goes $200, and I took it. So, but I think that was a great deal. I really do. Yeah. So, I mean, it only takes one yard sale, but it kind of made the day. Coming back, everything was $1. And I picked up this old chair, and it was a folding up chair. And I'm thinking, wow, this is the weekend of folding chairs, but it was an old one. So I took it home, and I noticed a marking on it. It would have been like a painted inventory mark. And then I realized that by looking it up and seeing another mark, I checked, and underneath the seat is another mark, and it ends up being a World War II military chair. They would have used out. I don't know if you ever watched Saving Private Ryan or whatever, and they're sitting at a desk under a tent.
Yeah.
They would have sat on this chair. You know what I mean?
So awesome. Yeah, it's so much fun.
Yeah. So it's not going to be worth a whole bunch. Probably like, I don't know, 35 to $50. I'm
Still
assuming.
interesting though. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe online it's worth a little more, but it's it's older. I'll wipe it down with some pledge, and we'll see what it looks like then, but it should be okay. But hey, if I got $40 out of I paid $1 for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everything was $1. So what happened was I found 2 things, and she goes $1, and then another thing, it was $1. And then I found a third thing, and all I had was 2, and I had the toonies, Then I had another tuning. I said, "Oh, well, here's $4." I said, "I'll look around for something else that's worth $1." So I picked up this chair, and I said, "What do you want on this?" She goes, just make it $1." And I'm like, "Are you sure?" And she goes, "Yeah." And I was like, "Okay." But I didn't realize it was military until I got home. But
That's really good. Yeah.
yeah, and that was probably it for picking. The booth was horrible.
Oh.
Like I probably did just over $100 on Saturday and about $100 on Sunday, and that's not good days for me. And it's weird, Carl, because right after we got off last week's show, which we record on a Wednesday, the Thursday, Friday was really good. And I'm like, okay, well, last Sunday was bad. The Saturday was good. Maybe the weeks are picking up a little bit. Maybe it's a good weekend. It was horrible, dude. It
Oh.
was like that's not a good weekend for me, right? So,
Yeah.
um, so I don't know what's going on. I think it's just summertime. I don't think there's anything to be. Like I said, Thursday, Friday was actually really good days. But I like to see those weekends really pop, and it was stale. So we'll see what happens. I don't know what was going on. Not panicking by any means because it's just
Just one weekend.
it's one weekend. But I'm like, get kind of disappointed. However, I've been listening a lot more on eBay, and eBay's been decent. So I think that's just the way it goes. Sometimes it's just riding out the storm, and eventually it evens out. So or hopefully gets better. Like stays up. I don't know. But no, that I went in and I put that ram's head on the wall, and I'm really happy with it. So
So you put it on Instagram, right?
yeah, I put it on Instagram.
So what's your Instagram account? Do you remember?
Well, my YouTube channel is Scott Sells Stuff. That's what I do on eBay.
Yep.
But I couldn't get that on Instagram. So instead of Scott Sells Stuff, my Instagram is Stuff Scott Sells. That was what was available.
There you go. So if people want to look it up, they can look it up there.
Yeah, Stuff Scott Sells. But yeah, so it's my latest post, which I don't really post a whole lot, but probably
I
should.
post a little bit, but I don't even know my Instagram account.
I'm really thinking about doing YouTube, but doing it as a sales, like for sales purposes. Like I'm gonna have a little bit of a different tweak to it. Not so much what I've sold, not even really what I paid for things, but here's where I got in my booth. Here's what I'm listing on eBay. I don't know how to do it yet. But the reason I'm talking like this is because, and I know it's a huge difference between what Homeschool Picker has, but
Yeah.
they sell so much stuff to people that watch them.
Yeah.
And they were talking about how they can't even keep up with the listing. Like they try to get it over 700, they try to get it to 1,000, but they're kind of around $300-400. They just can't. They list a whole bunch, but they just can't keep up because so many of their viewers are watching, or sorry, are buying what they're seeing. So
Oh no.
what?
They're selling so much stuff.
Yeah, well, they
Nice problem
definitely
to
weren't
have.
complaining, but they were
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
saying if you go to
I
the
was
store and
teasing.
how empty it is,
Yeah.
they were actually kind of happy talking,
Yeah.
but it's just we just can't even keep up. Like, yeah.
No.
Um, so I'm not expecting to get anywhere near them. I know they have thousands of things, but if I put my signs back up on my booth and start this and just kind of deal with the inventory that I've purchased, maybe it'll draw people to the booth. If it draws another 3 sales a month, yeah, maybe it's worth it or whatever, right? But um, and then
You know,
maybe do something with YouTube and or sorry, the booth and eBay, right? And see what
in
happens.
a way, I think Instagram is actually kind of better because
Well,
it requires less editing,
yeah.
and people are more likely to take a quick look at Instagram, I think, than watch a YouTube video.
Well, the problem with Instagram, and I don't disagree with you, Carl, but
Yeah.
it's just the attention span on Instagram is so small. Like,
Right.
do I do a bunch of little videos or like I didn't even get? I have 3 booths, and I just did a little section of my one booth, right? So does that make it misleading that this is all I have, or does that not really matter because I'm really showing off kind of the desk and the ram's head and a few pieces of art,
Yeah. I think
right?
it doesn't really matter. I think it's like, here's some new stuff I have. And the thing is, you get a following in the area. They might say, "Hey, look at that ram's head. I live in the area. I'll go check it out." Right? I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying it's a relatively quick and painless thing to do. Right?
Yeah, it's not a bad thing at all. I don't disagree at all. And I'll probably maybe do that kind of stuff too, right? Um, it's just, yeah, it doesn't take long to, it does not take long to deal with that at all. Like to post a video,
That's the main thing.
it's very
It's
quick.
like YouTube is much more of a laborious thing than Instagram, where basically take video, go on Instagram, post video, and you're done.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Like that's the
yeah.
advantage of that stuff too. Not that I'm not a hypocrite. I'm just as bad. Like I did one a few weeks ago, but it's just my name, Carl Klassen. So I need to change that up maybe. But
Yeah, no, I'll definitely try to work out. I think that's a great idea.
especially considering like what you're really interested in with the booth is the local people in a way, right? Because you're
Well,
not
with the booth, yes,
with the booth.
but with the YouTube, the only thing about the YouTube is it's kind of, it's going to sound weird here, but it kind of adds a little personality to it, right? Like,
There's that.
right?
Yeah.
So people kind of like, okay, there's one thing to show on the product, but then there's a personality, and you can kind of do a bit of a, I don't know if it's a more of a sales pitch, but it's more of like, more like, these chairs came out of Dutton, Ontario, a theater out of Dutton, Ontario. You know what I mean? They like, you can kind of give a little bit more info. You can kind of,
Well,
and maybe you could do that on an Instagram, but then that's one post, and then do you do 10 posts? Is that too much? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's,
yeah, but I'm saying there's two
I think you do both. Is what I'm kind of maybe getting at.
right. I'm just saying there's two different audiences. Like the podcast, right? We're doing now. This is for resellers. We're not
Yeah,
going to have people coming on here listening about stuff they're going to buy from us,
100%, 100%.
right? So I'd say YouTube and Instagram is almost in the same way. Where Instagram, there might be the resellers, but I also think there's a higher percentage of people actually will follow it if they're interested in buying interesting things from you. And with YouTube, the difference is you actually sit there and watch it, right? And I don't know how often customers are going to do that, like on a continual basis, right? Like with Instagram, it's easy. You just click on Instagram and you get your feed that's based on everything, and you can scroll easily through videos, right? But with YouTube, you actually have to you get this, with your subs, you still get the same thing, but it's not like except for with shorts. But it's like it's much more of a commitment to actually watch a video. So I
Yeah,
think there's actually two kind of separate audiences there in a way, right?
yeah, no, for sure. And I do like the Instagram idea, so I think I'll probably try to do both. I think Instagram is very, very quick and easy for sure.
Quick and easy, yeah.
Yeah.
And don't
Uh,
worry about being perfect on it. Just be consistent. I think is much more important.
yeah.
But I agree with you. YouTube is much more personal, right? You're talking with the audience or to the audience, as opposed
Yeah.
to Instagram, where you don't even really see yourself. You just see the stuff that you're showing, right? You can show yourself, but
Yeah. So yeah, I'll definitely look at doing that for sure. Um, I also wouldn't. The problem is, like, it's just so hard to get traction on really any platform, but especially YouTube. So sometimes it feels like you're just spinning your wheels, wasting your time. So I don't want to put a lot of effort and time in it,
exactly.
in the point where I feel like I'm overdoing it for nothing. But to put a little bit of effort into it is going to be required, and I know you only get out of it what you put into it. But I think it just has to be done a certain way, where that it doesn't require like a lot of editing and all this other stuff.
It takes
I,
a lot. Like even just last night, Two Dog Steaks did an announcement that they're stopping their paid subscription on YouTube because they found that and not shutting things down, but making things a lot less consistent and quiet. Because even after all these years, they just weren't making enough on YouTube to make it equal the amount of effort that they put in.
Right.
So they're pulling back because they found it was, there's a few reasons, but that's one of them.
Yeah. And I would agree. Like that's and I think I think it's the luck of the draw, dude. I do. I think some people just timing, you know. Yeah, I think it's definitely content, but there's shows out there that doesn't do as well as other shows, and I like them more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So why is that one show doing better when I like this other show is way better? But what they seem to be kind of stuck when it comes to subscribers and
Well,
views
yeah.
compared to
People
the
click
other one.
with their audiences a bit, maybe too. Like, I've always said I do this just so we can talk once a week, and people go and listen in if they want to, and that's good enough for me, right?
Yeah.
When it comes to marketing and stuff like that, I think the other stuff that we've been talking about pulls in a lot more people if that's what you care about, right? Like, just from, like, if you have your Instagram up, right, and you don't have something in your booth with a little thing to take you straight to your Instagram, that's going to be more effective than like 6 months of these podcasts,
Well, I think for the booth, it's totally great, but for
right?
eBay, it might be a different story. I don't
eBay is
know.
a different story. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's funny because I find eBay needs less advertising in a way.
But you know what? I've had people come to the store and ask for me because of the YouTube channel.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
Right?
There was one lady, she came and talked to us for a long time, or talked to me, but she watched Adam and myself, right?
Yeah.
But she remembers like you coming on the show
Yeah.
and she would talk about other things and she was like just really excited to meet with us and stuff. So
And that's great. Like,
yeah.
I love that obviously as well.
Yeah. So it was people like that and people that come on to the show every week and in the comments and stuff. You kind of like it was really a really tough decision to stop doing the live every Sunday because lives are very you're committed to those days, but it was the people that made it really tough. Like it was a small following, but it was a consistent, loyal like following. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Loyal in a loose term that they were there every weekend,
Well, the
every Sunday.
community. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was tough, dude. Like it was almost like heart. Like I felt like I was really letting people down that supported the channel, but at the same time, everything comes to an end, and it just felt like I didn't know what else to really do to make it better. Like there wasn't too much. Like it was we're just kind of shooting the shit and showing some things, but it wasn't getting the it wasn't attracting. It sounds so materialistic. Like the views where it was financially worth it. You know what I mean? And that's contradicting to what I just said. But there has to be a little bit of when you're committing every Sunday at a certain time and you're
Yeah.
missing out on doing other
Yeah.
things. You know what I mean? And it's
Well,
always cutting into your like
Sunday.
it's
Yeah.
always prior to maybe going out and meeting family or going
Yeah.
out for a weekend or always feeling you have to be there. That's a tough commitment to it. And I think we did it for 3-4 years.
You had a long run.
Right. So
And like I said, just last night, Craig and Rick from Two Dogs Digs had the exact same conclusion, right?
yeah.
Because the financial aspect, well, not everything about what they're doing, was an important part of what they were doing. And they spent just as long doing it, and it wasn't growing in such a way to make it worth it. In fact, YouTube changed the way it does ads, and their income actually went down.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that's part of the reason, right? Because and for them, it's the same thing. Like they used to do a show every Tuesday, the live show, and coming up with topics, and then it became every second Tuesday, and then it's like, you know what? It's not like they're gone. It's not like you're never going to do YouTube again. I bet you have this, right? It's just the
Yeah.
amount of time you're putting into it is hopefully less. than on
Yeah, and
Sunday.
if so, like we try to do it every Wednesday. If something comes up, we'll do it Wednesday night or a Thursday.
Exactly.
Like it's flexible. Where the other, you have to be there at a certain time, certain day,
Yeah.
every day, every
It's
time.
just a text saying, "Hey, can we move it?" No problem.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So, and you know
Well,
what? I think the YouTube like reselling genre has changed a lot too. There's just, I think, like everything go like just like with poker, it had a high and then it had its crash. I'm not saying reselling has had a crash, but I definitely think it's come down in terms of interests, right?
well, I'm going to kind of digress a little bit to
Sure.
something we've talked about it before. But it's funny how you said how reselling has kind of hit its high. And one of my concerns, and I had a talk, and I won't name names and all this kind of stuff, but I had a long conversation with someone that I really respect in the antique kind of industry and stuff. We'll leave it at that. But I kind of ran by that person what we had talked about before, and it kind of goes back to Antique Nomad, where the baby boomers cycle of life, they're starting to die off. They're the ones with the money, they're the ones that have the population,
Yeah.
and we're doing all the buying. Now that they're doing the dying, their stuff is coming out. There's a lot more inventory out there, and so that's going to flood the market. But more importantly and more devastating to resellers is the buyers aren't going to be there for that kind of stuff.
Not for that stuff. Yeah.
So there's different ways that people are approaching it. Um, like now it's the creme of the creme. Like condition is the going to be the most important thing going forward. Um, but I also think prices are going to drop a little bit too in a lot of ways. That's my opinion. I don't know if I'm right or wrong. Right, rarity is going to be huge, but I think we're going to be surprised at how much stuff is out there that we thought was rare that maybe isn't as rare as we thought. Um,
Or it's going to be back in the market because of the way life works, right? Where that
and
person did collect a bunch of toy soldiers for years and years and years and years. Then they passed away, and
yeah,
then they all went on the market, right?
and we kind of talk about this ourselves, like how much effort and time are you going to put into stuff? And that's kind of part of the conversation too. Was like there's different things out there for everything, but like let's say for instance, like if you're selling toys, like you have to make sure they're functioning properly. You know, if they're not, then you got to get them repaired. Like for instance, I'm putting some old radios. Old radios are really tough for me to sell. I can't sell them out of the booth. You know, even for 30, $40, and I'm not going to go any lower because you probably got 20 bucks into them.
Yeah.
But on auctions, they do okay. Even in some conditions, like I see eBay, there's a lot for sale, but there's also some good prices going out there. So I think it's condition, and but you have to fix them, or you have to pay somebody to fix them, right? You have to pay for the old tube or whatever it takes to fix them. Some can't be fixed. So, anyways, I'm taking some to auction, and the ones that don't work don't have a lot into them by any means, but you know, you're going to put needs repair. But the ones that do work, I don't know what I'm going to get out of them, but I have to do something because I can't just sit on them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But a lot of radios are coming out, and I think they have been for a little bit. But right now, I've gone to some auctions where there was like 100 tube radios for sale or more.
Yeah.
Right now, some of them will go for $6, $7, $1,000. Very rare, certain ones. But some of the older ones you can't even get $10 for, right?
No.
So toys are one, radios are one, but there's things like I think gone are the days where you clean out a barn, you find some stuff and you go get it repaired and then you can sell it triple your money. I don't know if that's going to be there right now. Like I could be wrong, but I if I'm buying that stuff, I'm either going to not buy it or I'm going to be very cautious. Like something has to speak to me that this is going to be something. Doesn't mean I'm right or wrong, but most of the time I'm just going to pass on it anyway. Does that make sense, Carl?
Yeah, and we talked about before, the market's changed. Like, because I
It's
know
changing
people who
slowly, but it's changing.
it's changing. And
right?
like I think it always has. It's just that some of the older guys and gals, like they saw stuff that used to sell really well. Like Pyrex is a good example, right? That market's come down a lot, and now
Comes down a
condition
lot.
really matters, right?
Yeah.
Where before anything you bought, you could just sell, right? And if you still are going out there buying every Pyrex that you see, despite condition or rarity, well, you're going to get stuck with it, right? You don't want to be that person with the trying to sell the thing for $60 and now sells for 20 and just gathering dust because you spent 30 on it, right? But I can tell you stuff for younger people still really sells well, but the older guys know nothing about it, right?
Yeah.
And they don't want to. So I'm always interested in what's the next thing, if I can.
Well,
But
and we've talked about this before, and I know I've always known I have too much inventory, or I have more inventory than I need, right? And sometimes it's a good problem to have, sometimes it's a bad problem, whatever. But when it's costing money sitting on storage, or you got to move it all,
yeah,
or you get a chance to actually look through how much stuff you have because you didn't really see the forest for the trees. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? Like I
and I
see a
see a
couple
lot
of
of
boxes,
trees
but
around here.
when I dig into the boxes and I realize there's war metals and
Yeah,
fountain pens.
yeah,
So one box might look like one thing, but when you dig into it, there's 100,000 things in that one box. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So I'm kind of being a little sarcastic there, but I think I got to be more on top of things and find different ways to move things because I don't want to be stuck with a storage full of unit full of stuff that in 3 years has depreciated so much because I've been paying for storage. Second of all, now 3 years later, it's not worth what it should have, what it was, or there's so much stuff out there. The market has changed. People don't want that stuff. Like, I know it's a little sarcastic, but dude, I've talked to so many people when I say the word storage unit. Oh, yeah, I have 3 or 4 of those full.
yeah, yeah.
Like, I remember talking to one guy who does primitive furniture, and he had, I think it was 10 or something. He goes, just full of primitive furniture. He goes, and he just keeps buying.
There's a lot of guys
He's
like
not a
that.
seller, he's a collector.
Yeah,
And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if that's really a good thing, but
no, no, that's the danger of this is that because you get such a high of buying stuff, right?
yeah.
That's the addicting part.
Dude, okay, here's another addicting part. This is something too. Remember, I haven't said any names ever, so I'm okay this way. So it's just a person. But remember that automotive stuff that I could
Yeah,
have spent 3 grand,
yeah,
but I was not comfortable because there was a lot of work behind it,
yeah,
and I don't even know because of my lack of knowledge in the vintage motor automobile part stuff. I didn't know what exactly was there value wise. He would not come down from that. That was last year. Remember that?
yeah,
He passed away.
yeah.
Nothing was sold.
No,
Right. So I won't get into it too much more other than, you know, he could have got an extra maybe 1,000. I don't know if I would have done 1,500. There was some stuff I really liked there. So maybe I would have went $1,500 on it. But he could have got $1,000 and had a cleaned out garage. You know,
no.
he could have went lower on some of the other stuff, you know. Um, so what happens now? It's left for the family to clear out, which is going to either be garbaged or someone's going to come in there and give them $500.
If
You
they're
know,
lucky.
yeah. So it's. I'm not saying it was wrong of that guy, but I'm just saying that's situations that can happen. Like we could
He
be
got
sitting here and
attached.
I could
He got
keel
attached
over
to
with
the
a heart
value.
attack, and my son's
Yeah.
going to be left with a bunch of shit that he has
Well,
no knowledge in. You know what I
yeah, I
mean?
don't want that happening to my wife either.
You know, so or Stephanie, like both of them. My son, I just said, but um, Stephanie would have an idea. She would know. Probably just set it all out in an auction, you know, or have a big yard sale, invite all the vendors to come over, and she would have an idea of roughly an idea of, you know, she wouldn't have a great idea on what stuff is worth, but she would be able to kind of come up with a decent number, I'm sure. But it's going to be vendor numbers. It's not going to be collector numbers.
It's going to be wholesale numbers.
Yes. So, um, anyway, that's just the realities of it. So I'm very picky. I've heard other people say this, that they're very picky. Nobody was being picky at this yard sale, man. There were so many people out, pickers. It was insane. Um, so I'm kind of digressing a little bit, Carl, but one of the points someone made, it was a small town, and I don't know the area, but the person that I bought the chairs off said the reason is because that little town is center.
Mm.
So you got people coming from like the bigger cities to that small town, where if she goes, you come down closer to where she was, she goes, they don't really come down this far. You know what I mean?
If you
So
think of it, most people's range is like an hour mentally.
Yeah, so I'll have to go and kind of check the radius of that town, but it made a good point. It's just something she said. It's not that I looked into it. I just know there was crazy amount of vendors out there, like not vendors, but like resale pickers. Like there's no question that's what they're there for, and it made a point. So, anyways, but anyway, she's got lots of stuff. She has tons of stuff, so we've kind of made a connection, and I'll be back picking from her big pile of stuff. So it's a bit of a source. She's a little bit pricey, but she wanted to clear this stuff out, so I got a good deal. So if she's into the situation where she wants other stuff cleared out, I'll get another good deal, you know?
Yeah.
But anyways, kind of digressed a lot there, but I think that's one of the things. Is just to clear the stuff out, and I got to get out of that storage unit. You know, I don't want to get stuck with it. You know what I mean? I don't.
You
want
don't want to be talking about it on the podcast a year from now.
Because I understand it. If, like I said, if there's $10,000 worth of stuff after paying for 1 month, now it's 9,700. Then it's 9,400. Then it's 9,100. Then it's, you know what I mean? Like every $300 every month within a course of a year, 10,000 is worth 7,000. 2 years, it's worth 4,000. You know what I mean? Like, and if you look at it that way, it's not good. Now,
at least you're looking at it.
If you use it as a processing place because you live in an apartment or
that's different.
Sure, that's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
Now it's a processing center and it just keeps moving. I'm talking about putting a lock on it and not opening it for a year or two. You know,
exactly.
That's when the issue is.
Yeah. Storing it and forgetting it. That's the problem.
And I don't want it to become that. So, that being said, a friend of mine has recommended an auction where they do quite well. It's a little bit further than I'd like to drive for it, but it's still kind of en route to different things, so it'll be fine. And that's one way I'm going to clear a lot of stuff out. I talked a little bit about that with you, or maybe last week's show, because I remember you asked me like, what stuff are you selling? So, they actually did surprisingly well on a lot of things that I was happy to see do well with. So, like, I mean, if you're getting $100 for an Atari system, all my Atari systems are going there. You know what I mean? Like not in the same day, but they're all going there because it's gone in a week. It's gone in that last day, and I don't have to deal with any problems. And this, sure, they're taking 30%, but at the end of the day, you're losing 20 to 30%, no matter where you're selling it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, yes, you're losing 20, 30%, even if you sell in the booth or at the flea market
or eBay,
eBay or Etsy, or like really anyone who thinks otherwise is kind of fooling themselves.
Yeah.
So, in my opinion,
yeah. So, yeah, no, agree. So I'm okay with that. And I think you're losing. So even some people say, Scott, you're only losing 13% on eBay. Okay, if you don't do promoted listings and you charge calculated shipping, because sometimes you could get hit there too. But at the same time, it might take you a year to sell that. So in a little bit of a way, you're not making that money back. That money could be depreciating. It could be taking up space. It's taking time to list it and ship it.
Yeah.
Where this is, I'm just dropping a bunch of stuff off, and they list it, and they ship it, and they do everything.
Yep.
So anyways, so that's that, Carl.
What were we talking about?
Conspiracy theory,
stuff.
Mandela
Stuff.
effect. No, I don't. But what's your thoughts on anything like that, Carl?
You know, I find like a lot of people never calculate their time into their costs, and I find people run around a lot, back and forth, without accounting for that.
Yeah,
and that is another form of waste, just like the cost for the storage unit. But I can't tell you how many people I've met also, like, who said, oh, I have a full warehouse full of stuff,
yeah,
and then they're buying, and their car's crammed
yeah,
every single weekend, right? Hey,
yeah,
there's one guy, and he doesn't sell, he just buys mostly, and he has done eBay and stuff like that, high end stuff.
yeah.
Smart guy, but he's just buying for fun because it's not about that aspect. That's fine. But then you have the other people who are not fussy, buying everything they see is cheap. And when they pass away, someone has to deal with all that crap, right? Like, this is like, there's always different aspects of this. Like, to me, like, the most interesting thing is this is a business. And if you're not doing any, and you want, there's what people say and what people do is not the same thing, right?
Yep.
And I see, like I said, a lot of people are running around not making any money, but they feel they have money because there's money in their pocket,
Right.
which is very, inaccurate. So I always encourage, like, for me, it's always trying new stuff is one of my most interesting things. So,
Well, I'm going to be a little contradictive to what I said, kind of what we're both saying, because I think we're both saying the same thing. Little bit contradictive here. Now, what worked for me in the beginning was kind of buying everything cheap because I learned a lot of stuff.
yeah,
I really kind of. So if you're starting out, I'm not saying this is the right thing, but I'm also don't want to say it's the wrong thing. Because it's very hard when you're starting out and you're trying to learn stuff to say, I'm only going to buy the best stuff. Even if it's a bit of a premium, it's less work. Well, you might not know what the good stuff is. You
don't.
might know some good stuff, but you're missing out on some other stuff, right? Like when I was first starting out, would I have bought that ram's head and those chairs for $200 at a yard sale? Probably not.
Mm.
Right? But now I'm like, well, I know people want this. I know people will want these chairs for sure. I had one guy come up to me. He goes, I know a guy that just bought a bunch. He has a huge car shop where he shows his muscle cars, and he has a little area, and he bought a whole bunch of theater chairs, the older ones, just like these. And he puts them in his garage, and he has a video thing. He's got a little popcorn stand.
Yeah.
So the guy's got money, and he just bought a bunch of them for his little theater, and it shows his cars at car show. Like, he's got a little whole system going.
Yeah.
So I'm like that just confirms there's people out there who want these. They fold up so you can put them away. We're keeping one set because it looks so good out under the patio. Steph just bought. She just went and just come home one day and she starts putting these patio furnitures together.
That's so crazy to me. We would never do that. But anyways, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, why did you do this? Like, why don't we can find this stuff at yard sale for super cheap. Why would you go do this?
She did it on purpose. You know that, right, Scott?
So anyway,
there's a reason she didn't tell you in advance, right?
She just come home with it.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I got these chairs and I put these wooden chairs out there. They're so comfortable, Carl. Like the whole design on the back and the way they lean in it, like they're so comfortable, and they can fold away. In the wintertime, I can fold them and put them in the shed. They're gone, right? But they're under a canopy. I wouldn't advise the wood to be out in the elements of
No.
the weather. I would not advise that at all. I've done that kind of stuff with other things, and the sun wrecks it more than the rain. I'll tell you that. But it's under a canopy. It's in shade. It's hidden from all the rain and elements that way. Um, However, without digressing too much, there's going to be people that will want these. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
to bring it back a little bit, like knowing your local market is important too, and that's really hard to learn, believe it or
yeah,
not. When I talk about my friend John who's selling my booth there, he knows what sells in markets, in flea markets and antique markets, right? I don't. But I know what sells on eBay.
yeah,
So he brings me stuff like toys that he's looked up, and it's like, yeah, this is not worth anything because he doesn't know that market, right?
right.
But he thinks he does, and it's like I make the same mistakes except in the opposite way, where I think this will sell in the market, and it doesn't sell, right? Because like the markets are different. And what you're talking about with the ram's head and the chairs, and you said you originally you wouldn't have bought that, you buy it now because you understand the market a lot better,
I
right?
understand the market, and I understand a good deal where I thought that would have been a bad deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's too much money, but
That's
you
too much. I'm
realize
not paying $200 at a yard sale, but that's a score.
that ram's head that you bought, let's just say it's portion, I don't know, 100 just for sake, and you sell that for 250, right? Or 200, but that's quick, right? That's the difference.
Yeah,
And it brings attention to the booth too.
I was just going to say that, and it brings attention to the booth, and it's huge, and it's folk art, and someone's going to love that in their cottage or a
Yeah,
lodge, or
yeah,
you know what I mean, or a dealer at a Ram truck dealership where they can put that in an office because it looks like the Ram, like the
hashtag
horns. The horns are huge. Like
it's an interesting piece.
it's interesting for sure, and it's definitely folky. It's got a nice kind of folky look to it. It's almost slightly too well done, but it's not overly detailed well done. Like,
It's funny because I said chainsaw at first, right? And I
yeah,
was looking at it again, and it's like, well, no, the neck is nice and smooth.
yeah.
So someone took more with that, but the rest of it, I wouldn't say chainsaw is that it's not really quite fair, but it's not like highly detailed either. It's kind of a mix
Well,
between the two.
but have you ever felt like an actual ram's horns?
No,
Okay, they're rough.
yeah,
So for that to be rough, I wouldn't expect those ram horns to be smooth because that wouldn't make sense to me. But
no,
the way they are shaped and the roughness to them, that makes it like okay. There might be a little smoother on a ram's horns, but they're still rigid. They still have those ridges. You know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah,
So it kind of makes sense. And when I showed you the first pictures to the ones that I showed you now with the on that are on Instagram, I polished that sucker up with some pledge, and it made it shine, and it darkened the
yeah,
horns, it's darkened the nose and the eyes, and it's all that dust is off it now. And it
yeah.
just I wanted to take it home. Steph said no. Like I'm like, I don't even want to sell it now. So I put $300 on it. I still think it'll sell, but it's one of those things I'm kind of hoping sits around for a little bit because
I've done that.
it
Yeah,
does draw attention to the booth,
yeah,
and I like it. If I
yeah.
can't have it here sitting up on the wall, I got to put it there. But but anyway, um, so I guess to kind of get back to what I was saying is just because things like you're right, you don't want to just buy things because they're cheap. But if someone's beginning and it's old or it's something you're not sure of and it's cheap, sometimes that was my best learning. I
Yes.
remember one thing I learned was, and I looked this up to see what it's worth today. I looked this up a couple days ago. But one of those Streetwise puppet, it was the Slobster hand puppet, but Street Sharks, like
Yep.
Street Sharks, it's called.
Yeah.
Some of those are going for like $600 now,
Yeah.
$400. I think I
Yeah.
sold mine for $250.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things that I almost like threw out as garbage, right? Like this is just a junky old toy, but it was like it's unbelievable. So sometimes like if you can get a box of like kind of vintage toys and stuff like that, maybe pay $20 for it.
Oh, yeah, I will because sometimes there's a big winner out of there, but you don't
Yeah,
recognize
and
it,
you're gonna
right?
learn. Google Lens is your friend,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah,
like so there's a difference. I think as you get older though, like not older, as you get more experienced, I think you do have to kind of like rely on your expertise. I still will take a chance on some things, but I don't want the chances to start costing me money and space and headspace and time. If I'm going to take a chance on it, it's because it's the right situation at the right time. Does that make
yeah,
sense too?
yeah. And also, like, also when you buy those cheap lots and you learn something new, it allows you to cherry pick in the future in cherry picking situations,
Right.
right? Like where you'll be somewhere where they want $5 a figure, and on average they're worth $5, but there is one in there worth 100, and you know that because you picked up a whole lot of them cheap in the past, and now you had that in your head. Where if you never picked up that lot, you wouldn't even know that $100 figure is in there with the $5 figures, right?
So basically, if you feel you're a reseller with a split personality, you're right at home with everybody else.
Yeah.
Because it's
Fine
like,
line, fine
do
line.
this, don't do this. Do
I
it, but
know, I
don't
know.
do it, but do it. The devils are and the angels are on each shoulder, like, do it. No, don't do it. Yes, do it. No,
Just don't
don't.
put it in a box like we have and have it sit there for 5 years.
Especially if it's in a storage unit.
I'm pretty sure, like, I'm looking at the top shelf up here in my basement, and none of that stuff has moved probably in at least a year. Avoid
Yeah,
that.
and I want to start getting that's that's a goal. That's a goal to really focus on is to stop doing that. If I'm doing that with something, I'm just going to put it in a lot and throw it in an auction and get it out. You know what I'm really bad at is the video games because I'll go out and I'll find them really cheap and I'm like so happy. Oh, I got all these not so much the games but the consoles. But then I have to
Yeah,
test it, and then
yeah,
there's something wrong, or it needs to
yeah.
be cleaned, or maybe it's missing a controller, or who knows what it is, right? Like, and then I'm sitting there with it.
I don't buy consoles anymore. Um, I know people do well with them, but like you, I have them sitting here, including some good ones.
But
And
see, and I agree. That's the sentence I would say. But if you have an outlet and you're going to auctions to take 50 items every 2 weeks to an auction, which is what I'm doing, um, and you find a $10 console, I think you buy it now
oh yeah,
because you don't have to do anything. If you want to test it, go ahead. The power's on or whatever, but throw it in the auction because you're going to get 35 to $100 for that.
yeah, that's a good point.
So, so I agree with you, Carl. If it wasn't for this auction thing, I think I was done buying consoles. But if I can get them for $5, $10, or in a lot of other things, I've just opened up a way to deal with it now. You know,
Yeah.
and maybe a year from now, I have the storage units all cleared out. My house is under, some sort of organization as a reseller. And maybe I stop doing auctions. Maybe I stop buying consoles. I will buy the video games if they're in good shape and they're older and, you know, they're PS1 or they're not like NHL 95 or anything like that. I'm talking about like
Yeah.
if or I can Google Lens it and find out that they're because some of those video games are worth tons of money, right? So um maybe maybe I go back to not buying consoles again or something. But if I'm doing the auction, I'm going to buy stuff now that I think can fit in an auction. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you have a plan of what to do with it when you get it home rather than just throw it in the corner.
Right. So, um, and you know what? I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth because I'm putting stuff for auction. It's going to go there tomorrow, and if it does shit, then that's not going to be a possibility, right? But if it does good, and I've looked at their past auctions and some of the stuff, I'm like, wow, I would be happy to get that. Um, they do take 30%, so keep that in mind as well. But it might be another option. So I've tried doing it before, but I didn't have this type of organization. This new house, this move, has forced me to be organized.
An opportunity.
It's forced me to be organized because I had to move it. So now I'm organizing as I bring it in. Where before it was just kind of, hey, if it's out of sight in that room, it's not costing me any money. In my case, that room, in the garage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then it stays there.
Yeah.
But now it's forced me to start dealing with it and organizing it, and now hopefully this opportunity works. So we'll see. I don't want to do it every week, although I could, but I think that would be too much pressure to be working that way. So I told him I'd like to bring things. I told him my situation, and I'm looking at maybe 50 items every other week, and that gives me 2 weeks to collect it all and put it together properly and take it in. So we'll see how it goes. Anything else, Carl, or do we want to get?
I think that's it. I just want to give a shout out to Adam and Randy who left comments this week. Thank you very much.
Adam and Wakefield.
Yeah, Adam Wakefield and Randy gave us comments, and thank you so much for the comments.
Adam likes the shorter format, which I think is going to be better.
It's easier to edit, that's for sure.
And happy 70th birthday, Randy.
Coming up, yep.
Coming up. So just wanted to say that too, because he says it's moving closer. So as he's nearing his 70th birthday. So
there you go.
All right. Thanks for the comments. And any big sale this week you want to talk about, Carl?
No.
I had a big sale today, but it was a lot of toy soldiers, so I don't know if that really counts.
Well, just say toy soldiers. People know what you're talking about. Lots of toy soldiers.
Well, I will say this one, Carl, and I told you already. But remember that large Ninja Turtle?
Yeah.
Well, I sold the other nunchuck.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So that was a great buy for $5.
Yeah, there you go. And you were smart to split it up. An
extra $40 or so.
Sweet.
All right. Another fun show, Carl, and it went by pretty quick.
Yep.
Any final words?
No. Good luck, everyone. Don't buy too much crap. Be fussy. Don't be fussy. Buy cheap. Spend money.
Don't buy cheap. Just make sure it's good. We didn't help anybody at all. we just let them in our head and understand our site.
Buy low, sell high.
That's basically it. All right, bud. Have a good weekend, and hopefully you get a chance to go out and do some yard selling this Saturday.
Yeah, thanks. You too.
Have a good week, everyone. Have a good week, Carl.
You too. Bye, everyone.